So today I'm going to show you how to do increases and decreases. I'm going to show you two versions of each. So the decreases are marked by this green stitch marker in the middle here. And I'm going to show you how to do a left leaning decrease and how to do a right leaning decrease. And for the increases, I'm going to show you how to do a decorative increase, which is like this one here. This is really nice if you're doing a raglan sweater, and you can have the little decorative holes down the side, or a more invisible increase here, which you can see looks slightly more clustered, but generally in a sweater it is a little bit more invisible. So let's get started. Okay, so when it comes to decreasing, I believe there's really only two decreases that you need to know in knitting: a left leaning decrease and a right leaning decrease. There all seems to be lots of different ways in knitting on how to do these. They all seem to be called something different, but in my experience, a left leaning decrease and a right leaning decrease is all you need to learn. Any knitters in the audience, please let me know if I'm wrong down below. So I'm going to put on the screen all the different connotations of these decreases that I've come across and which ones are which. So what I'm going to show you is a left leaning decrease. Like I said, I'll put on the screen anything that this could be labeled as in a pattern, and basically this is what you want to do. So a left leaning decrease is really easy. What you want to do is you just want to pick up 2 stitches, yarn over, and then pull your yarn through both stitches. Let me show you that again. So we're going to pick up these 2 stitches, 1, 2, I'm going to wrap my yarn, and then I'm going to pull through 1, 2, and that's pulled through both of those. And as you can see, this does create those nice sort of lines that are all sort of going towards the left. So that's the left leaning decrease. For the right leaning decrease, as you can see here, we've got the lines that are all sort of going towards the right and towards that middle stitch, which I like to always have one in the middle, just I think it looks a bit nicer. And to do that, what we want to do is we just want to grab our knitting and sort of just fold it in half. And then we're going to sort of do the same thing. We're going to grab these 2 stitches here, but we're going to make sure that we put the furthest one on our hook first. So through this one, then through this one, yarn over and pull through. And then when we flatten the knitting back out, you can see it's leaning that way. I'll show you that again. So just fold your knitting over. It's the easiest way to do. You can also do the knitting as if you're actually knitting, so you can hold your knitting as if you're knitting and go in that way, but I find it just easier just to keep everything flat, and let's just fold it in half. But anyway, you find that it's easiest to go through this stitch and this stitch. Through this stitch first, then this stitch. Okay, so in we go through, come on, through both stitches, yarn over and pull through both. And there we go. So that's the left leaning and right leaning decrease stitches. As you can see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches there, but there's only 3 stitches on my hook, which means we've decreased 2 stitches. That's 1 on either side, 1 left leaning and 1 right leaning. Okay. So I'm at the point in my work where I need to do an increase, and the most easiest increase that you can do is knooking, is basically a yarn over. So I need an increase between this stitch that I've already worked and this stitch, which is the stitch that's marked with the purple marker. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap my yarn around And that's it. And then I just knit this one, and then I want to do another increase, so I'm just going to wrap my yarn around and then carry on as normal. And as you can see there, we have 3 stitches, but up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've increased 2. And then I'm just going to carry on. Right, so I'm at the point of my knitting where I want to do another increase, but this time I want it to be invisible. I don't want to have the hole in my work that you get with the other method I've just shown you. So we're going to do what you'll see referred as knit in front loop and back loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of twist the work, and if you have a look at the back of it, when you when you're knitting stockinette stitch, you get all of these lovely little bumps on the back of your work. So what we're going to do is we're just going to knit into one of those bumps. So if I just sort of turn my work ever so slightly, you can see we've got the loop that's going around the waste yarn, and then we have this little bump at the back there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop my hook into that loop at the back and yarn over and pull through, and there I've created a stitch. And now I'm going to stitch the actual stitch. And there you can see where we did have 2 stitches, we now have 3. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So just tilt your work ever so slightly so you can see the back loop, and just put your hook in there, yarn over and pull through, and then knit the actual stitch as normal. And there you have it. So there's the second way that you can increase, and it's slightly more subtle in your work. Okay, so I just want to show you another wildcard increase, and this is sort of a mix between something slightly more discreet and the more decorative. So if you do find you're working with, say, a bigger hook than I am, and the hole it creates is a little too large, you want something a little bit more discreet, but you do want it to still be slightly decorative. What you can do is you want to just knit in between 2 stitches. So you can see I've already knit this stitch, and this stitch is waiting to be knit. So I'm just going to pull them apart ever so slightly. And can you see how we have this bar? So if you do pull your stitches apart, you'll notice they have bars in between them. So what we want to do is we just want to find the bar between the stitch that I've already knit and the stitch I'm about to. And then I'm going to pop my hook into that hole there, yarn over and pull through. So the stitch is anchored, which means that it doesn't create as big a hole as the unanchored yarn over that we do. But can you see that how it is sort of pulling that hole ever so slightly? So it does create a bit of a hole, but not as big of a hole as the yarn over does. So I will just knit the next one, and then I'll show you that again. So there you go, that's the stitch we've knit. This is the stitch we want to knit. Pull them apart till you see the bar. Stick your yarn in, stick your hook in, sorry, and pull up. Okay. So I'm just going to carry on. I will do a few rows of that so then you can see the difference in what that looks like. This is my finished swatch. So here you can see we have the yarn over increases, the left leaning decreases, the right leaning decreases, and from here to here, this is where we have the invisible increases, which does create a bit of a tighter swatch. And then from here until the end, that's where I've stitched the sort of the in between this one and this one, where you can see we do have a little bit of gaps opening here. So if you did do this with a bigger hook or some thicker yarn, you would get a bit more of a gap there. So that's the sort of the wild card in the middle increases if you wanted to do that way. Okay, so Thank you for watching. I hope you found that helpful. Like I said, if you are a knitter and you have any tips for us, and please put that in the comments. Also, if you come across any stitches in any knitting patterns you're following and you're just not quite sure how to translate those stitches into Knooking, please let me know, and I'll see if I can help you out. So thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. It really helps my channel out. Thank you. Bye.